webinar. We're excited about this grant competition and the good work that we anticipate will come out of it. My name is Jessica Gibson. I'm the Assistant Executive Director for Post-Secondary Completion Initiatives at the Tennessee Higher Education Commission. I'm joined today by Hadash Sheffer, President of the Graduate Network out of Philadelphia. We do ask that you keep a copy of the RFP handy today because we will be referring to page numbers throughout the webinar. And we will address all questions at the end of the webinar. I'd like to quickly highlight what we plan to talk about today. THEC will be giving you an overview of the Reconnect initiatives in this community-based effort, information about the grant, the proposal process, and the timeline. Hadash Sheffer from the Graduate Network will describe their model, the planning and operations process, and the technical assistance provision of the grant. Lastly, we will open it up for questions at the end. This webinar is being recorded, and we will also be compiling the questions we receive throughout the course of the webinar and sharing them with all participants in an FAQ document. The recorded webinar and FAQ document will be posted on the THEC website by tomorrow, August 13th. So let's go ahead and kick this off. By now, you are most likely familiar with Governor Haslam's Drive to 55 initiative. Educational attainment rates are below the national average in most Tennessee counties. As the need for new skills that require training and education beyond high school grow, this will present a problem for workforce ability and quality. In 2013, only 37% of Tennessee residents had a post-secondary credential. The goal of the Drive to 55 is to bring the percentage of Tennesseans with college degrees or certifications to 55% by the year 2025. However, the Drive to 55 is not just about acquiring credentials. It is a workforce and economic imperative. Now, achieving the Drive to 55 relies largely on the recruitment, retention, and completion of adults in higher education. Now, most of us are familiar with the Tennessee Reconnect TCAT grant. However, Tennessee Reconnect, the logo you see in the middle of the slide, is the name of a series of programs, including the effort we're going to talk about on this webinar, that make up the adult-focused efforts of the Drive to 55. Tennessee Reconnect programs seek to engage the over 900,000 Tennesseans over the age of 25 who have some college but have not completed their degree, and the 1.4 million Tennesseans over 25 with only a high school degree. So what is a Tennessee Reconnect community? First, we believe that communities are really where the success of Drive to 55 will be decided. Ownership of the Drive to 55, and in this case, the Tennessee Reconnect Adult Learner Programs and associated goals, means that Tennessee Reconnect communities will assist and support their residents and neighbors in the pursuit of post-secondary completion. Second, communities that support their residents in this pursuit must provide high-touch services. One of the first and most difficult steps for an adult going back to college is reaching out to someone for information and help. Adults often feel more comfortable talking to someone that they can connect with, either in experience or in background. This is why community-based services, which are institution neutral, are so important to guide adults through the process of returning to higher education. So what do these services look like? They meet your residents where they are. They are available in a physical location, and if possible, they have a mobile component, like pop-up services in churches, with employers, at malls, etc. They reach out to people in your community. Your Tennessee Reconnect Community Center provides advising, counseling, assistance, filling out and filing financial aid forms, time management, study skills, and other services, from the time that someone decides to finish through until they graduate. If your community applies for and is awarded this grant, you will be considered a Tennessee Reconnect community. You will receive hands-on technical assistance and startup funding to provide these services. Finally, individual Tennessee Reconnect communities cannot function in a vacuum. Tennessee Reconnect is a statewide effort, and therefore communities will only benefit and grow through support and idea sharing within a network. So through this network, the state will provide consistency in practice and messaging, technical assistance, capacity building, feedback loops, marketing support, and additional resources to magnify the efforts of the communities. It is through this network that the Tennessee Reconnect communities will communicate their best practice and coordinate their efforts. The centers will function as connecting places, engaging institutions, local employers, local organizations, and adult learners. The unique function of the Tennessee Reconnect communities necessitates community partnerships, not only in the delivery of the services, but in the planning and organization of the effort. So you may be asking, how should we define our community? For the purposes of this grant, a community will be defined as a neighborhood, city, county, geographic region, or cluster of those entities existing in the state of Tennessee. During the overview of the proposal requirements, we will discuss this in more detail. But entities that are eligible to apply for the grant, we will define that in more detail. We will prioritize those communities who have the greatest impact and service area reach within their proposal. So what are you applying for and who is eligible? Grantees will receive technical assistance in developing and launching services for adults in their community who wish to complete a post-secondary credential. Grantees will also receive funds to support startup costs for Tennessee Reconnect community centers. And finally, grantees will participate in the Tennessee Reconnect Community Network. THEC is partnering with the Graduate Network to scale what is a proven model in helping adults succeed. This partnership will provide capacity, resources, and expertise to help the grantees design holistic local strategies for increasing access to and success in post-secondary education for adults. The technical assistance from the Graduate Network and THEC will include strategic and operational planning, training, data collection, service delivery design, marketing, and communication assistance. During this round of proposals, THEC will choose a cohort of 3 communities to launch in early 2016. Eligible applicants include community foundations, chambers of commerce, urban rural coalitions, collective impact entities, 501c3 organizations, business coalitions, or business leadership groups. We will also accept applications from local workforce boards that have experience managing grant funds other than WIA or WIOA funds. Post-secondary education institutions and local governmental agencies are not eligible to be lead applicants, but will serve as partners in the community efforts. Colleges and universities will not be eligible primarily because we are looking for a lead entity that is institution neutral. Because folks in the community have choices for the post-secondary pursuits, we want to ensure that they are able to weigh each option equally against their particular situations. Communities that are awarded the grant will be designated as Tennessee Reconnect communities and recognized for their efforts to encourage and support their adult residents to complete a post-secondary credential. We're asking interested communities to submit letters of intent by August 17th. The purpose of these letters is to indicate your commitment to both submitting a grant proposal and working in partnership with us and the Graduate Network. If you would like to follow along, the requirements for this letter begin on page 16 of the RFP. In addition to contact information, we ask that you first describe your geographic service area, including the economic and demographic information of adult learners that you intend to serve. Then list the primary county or counties to be served, and list the primary city or cities which will be served. Next, estimate the number of adult learners your proposed site will serve, and finally, list the names of potential organizations who will serve as a partner in this work. THEC intends to share this information from the letter of intent with other applying groups whose proposals would serve the same area. The purpose of this is to identify groups whose proposals could benefit from collaboration. The applicants will have the opportunity to submit one combined proposal after the submission of a revised letter of intent. So after the institution has submitted a letter of intent and it has been approved by THEC, you will submit your actual proposal by September 23rd. The narrative portion of the proposal should be limited to 12 pages, no smaller than 11-point font and 1.5 spacing. I'm going to go through the sections of the narrative proposal now. The description of these sections begins on page 19 of the RFP. The cover page will consist of identifying information, contact information, and required signatures. This does not count towards the 12-page limit. The template for the cover page is included in the RFP on page 24. The illustration of current context section really begins the proposal narrative. This section is worth 30 points, and it is where you will provide a detailed description on the current condition, culture, and context of post-secondary access and success of adults in your community. This particular section of the proposal is the place where you discuss why this service is critical to your community. You will support your reasoning by using relevant and current economic and workforce data. Additionally, we ask that you describe your goals and anticipated outcomes in the areas of adult learner access, retention and completion, and on workforce and economic improvement. Lastly, in this section, we want you to tell us how you will leverage your strengths and community partnerships in this effort, and how certain realities make adult degree attainment a challenge for your service area. The next section, which begins on page 20, is leveraging community partnerships and collaboration. This section is also worth 30 points. This community-based model is highly dependent on collective impact strategies that bring together collaborators from across multiple sectors. In this section, we ask that you complete the table on page 20, identifying existing and/or potential cross-sector partners. We also encourage you to include multiple entities from the same sector if it's applicable. We are also asking that you identify in the chart whether the entity is a champion or a partner. For the sake of time, I will not be reviewing the definition of a champion versus a partner, but they are included on page 20, and if there are questions, I can clarify in more detail at the end of the webinar. Lastly, in this section, we ask you to discuss how you will leverage these partnerships if chosen as a Tennessee Reconnect community. We also ask that you provide signed letters of commitment from all the entities included in your table. The next section is the sustainability plan, which is worth 20 points. We are asking applicants to provide potential strategies to maintain this work after grant funding ends. We are emphasizing that these services should not be approached as a one-off project, but the start of a change in the way your community sees post-secondary attainment for your adult residents. The last section is the budget narrative, which is worth 20 points and located on page 21 of the RFP. Grant funds provided through the Tennessee Reconnect Community Grant will cover partial startup expenses. We are estimating a maximum award to each community of $200,000. We have provided a budget chart which lists expenses that a community can anticipate. This list is not exhaustive, but a general framework. We are asking that you indicate simply with an X the anticipated sources of funds, whether it will be the Tennessee Reconnect Community Grant Funds, in-kind support, or other funds. Please keep in mind, we are not asking for dollar amounts. The dollar amounts which are included in the chart should be considered fixed costs that will be funded from the identified source. Next, I'd like to quickly review the grant timeline on page 15 of the RFP. Letters of intent are due to THEC by 12 p.m. Central on Monday, August 17th. We will notify all applicants if a revised letter of intent is due after this initial deadline. If a revised letter of intent is needed, those will be due Friday, August 21st at 5 p.m. Central. Completed proposals are due via email to THEC by 5 p.m. Central, September 23rd. We will review proposals for completeness and compliance with the requirements I outlined before. If we have questions, we will contact you. We'll then give the proposals to a panel of reviewers who will score the proposals using the rubric starting on page 25 of the RFP. THEC will announce the awards on October 5th. Grantees will enter into grant contracts with THEC and begin work November 2nd. I'd like to now introduce the president of the Graduate Network, Hadass Sheffer. Hadass and her team will serve as key partners for this community effort by providing expertise and technical assistance as we design these community-based services in Tennessee. Hadass?
Thank you, Jessica. Let me start by explaining a little bit about the Graduate Network. We are a nonprofit group of communities who are working together to increase adult college attainment across the country. It started in Philadelphia and has now grown to over 13 communities across the country, and we are absolutely delighted to be able to help communities in Tennessee start up their own adult college completion initiatives through Tennessee Reconnect. Our focus is on adults. We call them comebackers, people who started college but never finished, and they're now poised to make a comeback to college. The main target audience for our work are people who are not seeing their way back to college amid all the outreach and the marketing that colleges and universities are already doing. So these are people who require a little bit more assistance in getting back to college. We know from our experience across the country that many of them stopped out of college 2, 3, 5, 10, 20 years ago because of a mix of issues, some of them financial, some of them logistical, some of them family. Sometimes there was just not a good fit between the individual and the college. Many of these comebackers were first generation, the first in their families to go to college, and they didn't have anyone in their family to help them navigate through. So they just stopped out, and that stop out became over years a situation they were in, and now they do want to go back. We operate on win-win solutions. And so the win for these individuals, for the comebackers, obviously is to finish what they started. So there is a personal component there. There is also an economic imperative. A college degree is still the best signifier for employers that someone is hireable or is promotable. We know that there is a lot of up-credentialing amongst jobs that used to only require a high school diploma or some post-secondary schooling now require an actual degree to be completed. So there are people out there who are at risk of losing their jobs and not being able to get another job at the same level, or who have been dislocated, especially in light of the big recession, and are not able to get back. They have the skills, they have the knowledge, but they don't have that gatekeeping diploma. There's also benefit to comebackers and their families, because we know that the biggest risk factor for a child to not finish high school, not go to college successfully, is if they don't have someone in their immediate social or family circle who has navigated college, who has been to and through college. College access programming by itself is not always sufficient, and so if we can get more adults to finish what they started and finish the degree, they will now have the navigational skills to help young people in their families, and that helps the college access programs throughout the country, the communities where we work, and in Tennessee as well. There's an obvious talent for businesses. The graduate model has application for individual businesses on how to participate and how to benefit from the program. For higher ed, this is an opportunity to highlight the good work that the higher eds are already doing with adults, or to learn about ways that in which colleges and universities can help more adults to complete. And the students who come through a graduate initiative, we have found, are more ready to start college and more resilient. Their persistence rates go up once they are in college. For higher education, there's also a mission imperative to join this. Many of the higher eds that we work with have in their mission to serve more people inside their communities and adults as well. And for the community as a whole, I'm sure everyone appreciates the benefits of having more people who have been through college. It's correlated with higher levels of involvement in school districts, higher rates of home ownership, and lower rates of usage of public benefits. So the Graduate Network connects communities who are interested in adult college completion initiatives across the country. We connect communities to resources for building an adult college completion program. We connect communities to resources for then supporting these programs after they launch. Our emphasis on completion means that we are looking at 2, 3, 4, 5 years of a relationship with each comebacker. This is not a one-year, once and done. As Jessica pointed out, the benefits accumulate and accrue over several years, and we are definitely focused on the longer-term outcomes for the communities that we're working with. We also connect communities to each other for the purposes of ongoing learning, improvement, sharing new best practices, meeting new colleagues and experts from around the country. As a network, we have the benefit of being able to test new approaches in several different markets, to garner funding to test new approaches, and then to spread what we have found, the new knowledge, but also the new practices across the country in a way that single organizations or institutions are less able to. Our approach is one of partnership. Every single community has to be based on partnerships. This issue of getting more adults to complete is bigger, it's broader and deeper than any single organization or institution can achieve by themselves. And our partnership list is documented in this RFP, and I recommend that you look at it as you are thinking about building the collaborative that will apply or that will operationalize your initiative. The Graduate Network started in Philadelphia 10 years ago. We have gained a lot of experience over time on getting people to and through college. We are able to increase success rates for adults from a national average of 43% to 79% for adults in the communities that we're working in. About 5 years ago, we started helping communities adapt the model to what fits them in terms of their strengths, their needs, the cultures. We have, as I said, helped 12 other communities start up. So we have a growing body of knowledge of how this model might adapt to other communities. And to show you a little bit about how it works, I'm going to ask that the slides be advanced. And so you can see that there are a lot of commonalities, but also differences between the communities we work in. The mission in some communities has been described as degree attainment, college completion. In other communities, the mission is more one of economic development, regional talent development, and workforce development. We have in each community investing partners, and they vary a little bit. And then there is a leadership team that emerges. As in any collective impact group, we strongly recommend that there be someone who is paid to pay attention to this. In the first stage of our work with the communities, we work on exploring and mobilizing your community. We work on strategy and setting goals, including sustaining goals for sustaining the work. We work with you on making sure that the partnership is able to carry out what you want to do, that the people that you need are around the table, and that everyone understands what's the big win for everyone, but also the win for their own organization. And then we work on operationalizing the strategy and goals. And if you would kindly advance the slide, you can see some of the different ways that communities have created their initiatives. You can have advising locations with employers, you can have call centers, you can have more or fewer advising staff. You can see that this model is built for scale. We expect that that communities that are up and running exceed a client base of several thousand people. The model is attuned to the training that is required. We provide access to tools like a client relationship management system that has been tested and customized. It's based on the Salesforce Platform, and we have been able to create a relationship with Salesforce that allows these systems to be built for a very, very low cost. You can see that in the budget. After launching and bringing the initiative to operations, we continue to stay in touch with the community through the network and to help all of our community initiatives grow. If you look closely at the RFP at sections 2 and 3, you will get more details about what we hope to achieve with you. Just for closing, I want to reiterate that these initiatives focus on awareness and messaging, making sure that everyone understands the importance of investing in adults completing college. We work on impact within policies and practices of the different organizations that connect with comebackers in your communities, and we provide technical assistance for setting up your own direct services. Thank you. Jessica?
Thank you, Hadass. I would like to turn this over to Marianne Rainey, who's going to field our questions to the appropriate parties on the phone.
Thanks, Jessica. Before we begin on the questions, all of the questions and answers will be posted on the THEC site after the webinar, including the recorded webinar, and we will have that posted by tomorrow, August 13th. So let's just dive in right into the questions. First one I think is for you, Jessica. Does the lead applicant also have to be the fiscal agent, or can that be another partner? If it can be another partner, does it have to be someone that would be eligible to apply for the grant as the lead, or could it be the community college, local county government?
We anticipate that, and we expect that the lead applicant will be the fiscal agent. So therefore, the lead applicant must comply with the eligibility standards that we've set forth in the RFP.
Thanks, Jessica. Can you give us an idea of the geographical area size? Are you expecting the 8 grants to cover the whole state? Could the grants be for one county or a small number of counties?
We anticipate really that we don't expect that the grant to 8 communities is going to cover the entire state. However, we do hope for the grant activities to cover a large portion, if not half, of the state. So we are, of course, accepting proposals from communities of any size, but we will prioritize those that do have a broad reach or reach across counties to more citizens, more residents.
All right, I think this next one is for Hadass. Could you please further describe the data collection and reporting component? This information is needed to ensure that adequate staff and resources are funded.
We have worked with Salesforce to customize the Salesforce platform to accommodate a graduate community initiative. The system that we're recommending and that we support throughout the network allows for data collection from three sources. The first source are the staff advisors who collect information about the comebackers themselves, but also about the interactions with them and the progress to and through college. The colleges contribute data, and we also collect data from the National Student Clearinghouse that reflects whether people are enrolled and whether they are graduated. We provide the platform to use the customized platform as part of our service. It also includes a lot of training for staff. It includes a reporting function with a lot of templates that already exist. In addition, we offer our analysis of the data of your outcomes also as a network service, and we do this collectively as a network with aggregate numbers for everyone a couple times a year. The amount of funding that we suggest you allocate to this includes applications on the Salesforce platform that allow you to send out mass customized emails, to run very sophisticated reports, and to connect an intake form that comebackers can complete by themselves onto your local website. The total amount runs between $1,200 and $1,500 a year. If you compare that to other Salesforce instances, they are usually in the $30,000 to $40,000. So we have crafted for you a very robust system at a fraction of the cost. And these are contracts that we will guide you through, but they are made with Salesforce, not with the graduate network.
Thank you, Hadass. Jessica, this next question is for you. Can you give us a better understanding of whether the project is primarily focused on adults with some college no degree, or whether deviations to that are okay? For example, those without any degrees or those under the age of 25.
So for this initial RFP and for kicking off and organizing the work in the beginning, we're asking the communities to focus on those adults in your community that have some college no degree and are over the age of 25. However, when the centers open their doors, we expect that they will be serving a population that extends beyond those with some college no degree and that are perhaps under the age of 25, because essentially these centers will serve a non-traditional population. So the answer to the question in brief is that to start off, yes, when you're preparing the RFP, when we're talking about planning, that is the population that you're first addressing. However, you must allow for being able to reach those that have no college experience and those that have a high school diploma and may just want to come in and find out more information.
Thanks, Jessica. Hadass, I think this next question is also for you. And it's a multiple-part question, so I can break it down if needed. The question is about the staff that are listed on the budget page. Are all of those staff members required? Is the staff size a requirement, or is it a recommendation? If so, do they have to be employed by the lead applicant on the grant, or can they be a combination of donated time from other partners?
That is a great question. So in the budget, we listed a recommendation for staff, and as I mentioned earlier, you will need someone whose job it is to make sure all this happens. As to the size of the staff, this initiative, this model is built for scale. And so you want people who can handle a cohort size of upwards of 500 people. We have the training and the tools that enable staff advisors to do this. We are also able to support you in training volunteers. And so the list of staff positions in the budget is a recommendation. It is to help people who are applying think of all the different functions that they might need to account for. Not everyone has to be a full-time staff or payroll staff. People can be volunteers. Certainly, if you have arrangements that allow for good accountability and responsibility sharing amongst organizations, not everyone has to be employed by the lead organization. We have experience where staff are employed by one organization, a manager is employed by another organization, and we can help you make absolutely sure that the accountability lines work. That will also be largely up to you as we work with you to select organizations that have proven ability to work in these matrixed ways.
Thank you, Hadass. I think this next question you've briefly described before, but just for clarity, I'm going to ask it. In the budget matrix, can you explain again the specific amounts that are already fixed and identified in there? And I think the two are the CRM and the annual graduate network membership.
The CRM is a pre-negotiated amount that we have set for communities in the network with Salesforce and with some of the apps that we have selected to use. It includes applications that allow you to send mass customized emails, to run analytical reports, and to create forms that connect to your website. The total of that in 2015 was about $1,200, and we anticipate that it will hold at about that rate. As I said before, compared to what a Salesforce instance would cost, plus the customization of a Salesforce instance, you're looking at savings of tens of thousands of dollars. The network itself, we ask that all communities contribute a small amount every year to help run some of these centralized services. For example, the training, we have annual meetings that we hold, and we provide also the data analysis and data upload and download in batches from the National Student Clearinghouse for verification purposes for each community. And when we run all these together for everyone in the network, we're able to realize big savings, but we do ask for some contribution, and that is the amount that you see in your Year 2 budget. In Year 1, the state of Tennessee is covering that cost for those communities. And for new communities coming on board in Year 2, their first year contribution to the network will also be covered.
Great, thank you, Hadass. Jessica, the next question is for you. Since academic institutions do not qualify to submit a grant, are they listed as champions or partners on the collaboration spreadsheet?
Thank you for that question. We expect that institutions will be listed as partners and considered as partners. We really feel, and we've reiterated a few times, that the community-based initiative, the nature of it really requires strong partnerships between community organizations, local government, and institutions. Those institutions will most definitely be key partners in this effort.
Thanks, Jessica. The last question that we have for today is also for Jessica. What is specifically included in post-secondary credentials as mentioned in the RFP for the 32,000 adults intended to be served by the Tennessee Reconnect communities by 2025? Does that mean degrees, certificates, certifications?
This is a good question. We mean specifically degrees and certificates. As this initiative is connected to the Drive to 55, we are connecting the efforts of the communities to what counts in the Drive to 55. So what counts in the Drive to 55 currently are degrees and certificates. So those are what we're, in terms of serving adults, that's what we're hoping to really reach out to and help adults do.
Thanks, Jessica. If anybody has additional questions that were not answered today, you can reach Jessica Gibson at her email address, which is on the screen right now. It's jessica.gibson@tn.gov, and we will post all those answers on the FAQ document on our THEC website. Jessica?
I would like to thank everyone for your participation today. And please check our website, because we will be posting questions that have been asked of us, and we will be updating those as we get in new questions. So please keep an eye on the website, and if you have any additional concerns, questions, or clarifications that are needed, as Marianne said, please feel free to reach out to me via email. And we look forward to receiving your letters of intent and your proposals. So thank you very much.